summer when Matt Le Tissier went off injured, and really didn't show us that he was up to Premier League football. And we asked him, or we told him that was it. So he spent maybe 10 days with us and left.
Imagine this. You're managing a Premier League club. You get a phone call from one of the most famous players in the world, George Weah, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner. He tells you about his cousin, a talented striker from Senegal who just needs a chance. Would you say no? Neither did Graham Souness. And that single phone call would go down as one of the strangest moments in football history. This is the unbelievable story of Ali Dia, the man who somehow conned his way into playing in the Premier League without actually being a Premier League player. Back in the 1990s, scouting wasn't what it is today. There was no YouTube footage, no Transfermarkt profiles, no online stats to verify anything. If a big name gave a recommendation, managers listened. And when the name was George Weah, the best player in the world at the time, you listened even harder. So when Souness, then manager of Southampton, received that call, he was told that Weah's cousin, a Senegalese forward named Ali Dia, had played for Paris Saint-Germain and even had international experience. Impressed by the connection and short on attacking options, Souness agreed to give him a trial. After all, what could possibly go wrong? When Dia arrived for training, the players immediately sensed something was off. He didn't exactly move like a professional footballer. Southampton legend Matt Le Tissier later said he thought the guy had won some kind of competition to train with the team. Another teammate recalled that Dia wasn't anywhere near Premier League level. Still, Souness wanted to see for himself and planned to test him in a reserve match. But the weather had other plans. The game was cancelled due to heavy rain. So, there was no real way to assess him before the next Premier League match against Leeds United. And then, fate added another twist. Le Tissier picked up a thigh injury during training and was doubtful for the game. That meant Southampton were running low on strikers. And the mysterious Ali just suddenly found himself as the only backup option. November 23, 1996. Southampton vs Leeds United. Le Tissier started the game but struggled with his injury. Half an hour in, he signaled to the bench he couldn't continue. Graham Souness looked around and realized there was only one attacking player left to call upon, Ali Dia. The moment had arrived. A man barely known to anyone outside the club was about to make his Premier League debut. And what followed was pure chaos. From the moment Dia stepped onto the pitch, it was obvious he had no idea what he was doing. His positioning was off, his touches were heavy, his decision-making non-existent. He looked lost, chasing shadows and arriving late to every ball. Le Tissier described it perfectly. He ran around like Bambi on ice. At one point, he managed to take a weak shot on goal, his only real contribution. 53 painful minutes later, Souness had seen enough. He substituted Dia off for a defender, a decision that said everything. Leeds went on to win 2-0, and when the final whistle blew, Ali Dia was gone. Literally, he didn't stay for the team talk, didn't show up at training. He left the stadium, disappeared from the hotel, and that was the end of his Premier League career. In total, Ali Dia spent around 10 days at Southampton. But that short spell made him a football legend, for all the wrong reasons. Soon after, stories began to surface. He had pulled this trick before, in Finland, in Germany, showing up at clubs pretending to be someone important's relative. He would get a short trial, perform poorly, and then vanish. Even other managers admitted to receiving calls from someone claiming to be George Weah. Harry Redknapp, Tony Pulis, both said they'd been contacted by this mysterious friend of Weah, and both said the player was terrible. So who was Ali Dia really? A footballer from Senegal who played a few semi-pro matches in France? A dreamer chasing fame? Or a full-blown con artist? Years later, when journalists tracked him down, Dia insisted he was misunderstood. "They made me out to be a liar," he said. "But I have a clear conscience. God will judge." Ironically, the same article included an interview with his mother, the same mother he once claimed had passed away years earlier. Graham Souness, for his part, never fully accepted that he'd been tricked. He maintained that the club knew he wasn't good enough almost immediately. But regardless of how it happened, one fact remains. Ali Dia's 53 minutes on a Premier League pitch are now the stuff of legend. He didn't score. He didn't assist. He barely touched the ball. And yet, he became one of the most talked about players in Premier League history. Because sometimes, leaving your mark isn't about talent. It's about the story you leave behind. And Ali Jia's story? It's one that will be retold forever. So what do you think? Was Ali Jia a master trickster, or just a man chasing his dream the wrong way? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more unbelievable football stories.